I can't.
Pay for it. I
can't.
guarantee it.
Calm down. Calm down, brother.
Lamont Roach, we saw the first fight. Lamont Roach shot the world. What do you think happens in a rematch if they fight?
I think he shocks the world again.
But at the same time, I think Roach fought at his peak. You know, I don't think he can fight better than that.
In a move that has sent shockwaves through the boxing world, Gervonta Davis has fired back at former promoter and mentor Floyd Mayweather Jr. after Mayweather publicly voiced support for Lamont Roach ahead of Davis's highly anticipated rematch. With the crafty contender, Davis's sharp response has reignited long-standing tensions, not just with Roach but also with Mayweather, highlighting the complex and now fractured relationship between the two boxing stars. Once the centerpiece of Mayweather Promotions, Davis was groomed by Mayweather to become the sport's next pay-per-view megastar. The Baltimore-born knockout artist was frequently seen by Mayweather's side, receiving public praise, expensive gifts, and ringside guidance. But as Davis matured in his career, cracks began to form. He grew frustrated with what he called micromanagement and miscommunications. Public disagreements hinted at deeper issues, and in 2022, Davis officially parted ways with Mayweather Promotions, choosing to manage his own career with support from Premier Boxing Champions, PBC. Now, in 2025, Davis is preparing for one of the most emotionally charged bouts of his career, a rematch with Lamont Roach. Their first fight ended in a controversial decision, and Roach has since pushed hard for another shot. Mayweather's support for Roach only adds fuel to the fire, making this rematch more personal than ever for Davis.
Tank want a rematch. Do you let me know now? Do you want to fight Tank again? He said he open to do a rematch. Do you want to fight Tank
100%. It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Okay. They say they want it in New York again. Do you want to fight again in the Barclays Center?
I wouldn't mind, but I'd love for it to be in DC.
Okay.
I'd love for it to be in DC.
Earlier this week, things took an unexpected turn when Floyd Mayweather publicly voiced his support for Lamont Roach during an Instagram live session. While Mayweather's comments were measured, they struck a nerve with Gervonta "Tank" Davis, who interpreted them as a betrayal. Once viewing Mayweather as a father figure, Davis saw the endorsement as a calculated slight. He quickly fired back with a scathing post on social media and doubled down during a follow-up interview with Showtime Boxing, saying, "Floyd's been hating, man." This emotional outburst underscores how personal the upcoming fight has become. It's no longer just about belts or rankings. It's about pride, loyalty, and redemption. From a boxing psychology standpoint, Mayweather's support for Roach may be a subtle mind game. Whether intentional or not, it places Davis under the glare of public scrutiny. Known for fighting with raw intensity, Davis must now guard against letting personal emotions cloud his focus in the ring. For Roach, the endorsement is a strategic confidence boost. Mayweather's backing adds legitimacy to his camp, elevates his profile ahead of the pay-per-view event, and mentally positions him as the fighter with momentum, pitted against a superstar with everything to lose. The rift between Davis and Mayweather runs deeper than boxing beef. It highlights a mentorship gone sour, clashing egos, and the unforgiving individualism of the sport. With Mayweather now seemingly in Roach's corner, Davis isn't just stepping into the ring to defend his record. He's stepping in to reclaim his identity and narrative. And with a new glimpse into Tank's training camp for the rematch, all eyes are on how the drama outside the ring will shape what happens inside it.
We did how many rounds? We fight dead recently.
Yeah, but you in the bag for about 8-2.
Yeah.
Lamont Roach and Gervonta, Tank Davis are officially set to run it back. The WBA lightweight title rematch will headline the August 16th PBC on Prime Video pay-per-view card. TGB Promotions has reserved the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas for the event, though the final venue has yet to be confirmed. The MGM Grand Garden Arena is also being considered. Initially, Barclays Center in Brooklyn, site of their first bout, was in the mix when the rematch was first targeted for mid to late June. However, current plans firmly point toward Las Vegas as the likely location. Their first meeting ended in a majority draw, leaving the outcome unresolved and fans eager for a definitive result. Matthew Bellini Brown of Brunch Boxing first reported the rematch date on March 1st. As anticipation builds, boxing fans and insiders are weighing in, including former undisputed champion Terence Crawford. Speaking with Ock and Barack of the Ring, champs, Crawford offered his take on how the rematch could unfold. He questioned whether Roach could surpass his performance from their first encounter, suggesting Roach may have already hit his peak. On the other hand, Crawford believes Davis, better known as Tank, has room to improve. Crawford emphasized the mental aspect of the rematch, pointing out that Davis didn't throw in volume during the first fight. It was just 1 or 2 shots at a time, he said. Tank needs to start letting his hands go and throwing combinations. He believes that doing so could change the dynamic and pace of the rematch. While acknowledging that Roach may have figured Tank out stylistically, Crawford still expects a sharper, more aggressive Davis in their second meeting, making this bout even more intriguing.
In the phrase when people say he got his number.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a real thing, and could it be possible that Roach has his number?
Definitely. Roach can definitely have his number, but that don't mean that Tank will come in there fighting the same fight.
But what could he do different? When I watched
he can let his hands go more.
But I think at times he did, and then he was being met and countered with answers back every time. So people are not used to seeing Tank in that space, because when he lands those shots, they usually end the fight, but they weren't hurting Roach.
But that's the thing. That's the mental game of it. You know, when he was hitting Roach or Roach was blocking,
right,
he had hit boom with like 1 or 2 shots.
Right.
You know, you gotta start picking it up and throw multiple
combinations. Yeah.
After the boxing world is heating up with several major events on the horizon as Premier Boxing Champions, PBC, prepares to deliver a string of high-profile bouts. Among them, July 19th is quickly emerging as the likely date for the much-anticipated WBC welterweight title clash between Mario Barrios and legendary former 8-division world champion Manny Pacquiao. This bout is generating tremendous buzz, marking Pacquiao's return to the ring against a young, surging contender. Meanwhile, matchmaking efforts are intensifying behind the scenes to finalize a suitable opponent for undefeated 2-division champion and current WBC light heavyweight title holder David Benavidez, who is expected to headline his own major event later this fall, likely in October or November. The goal is to keep momentum strong for PBC as it navigates a busy second half of the year, with star-driven cards designed to captivate fans. One of the most debated recent fights was the controversial bout between Baltimore's Gervonta Tank Davis and Washington, D.C.'s Lamont Roach Jr., a reigning WBA junior lightweight champion who moved up in weight for the opportunity. The judges' final scores, a 115-113 tally in favor of Davis, with 2 even 114-114 cards, reflected a razor-close contest. While some argued Roach had done enough to earn the win, most impartial observers did not view the decision as a robbery. However, a particular moment in the 9th round sparked significant outrage. Roach landed a stiff jab midway through the round, prompting Davis to glance over at referee Steve Willis, pivot away, and drop to one knee. No knockdown was ruled, and in a rare sequence, Davis was allowed to effectively call his own timeout, claiming that hair product had dripped into his eye and impaired his vision. Co-trainer Calvin Ford was permitted to step onto the ring apron mid-round to wipe Davis's face, something that clearly violates standard protocol, as cornermen are strictly prohibited from entering the ring area unless summoned by an official. Despite these apparent breaches, Willis issued nothing more than a stern warning to Davis. Many in the boxing community questioned whether Davis should have been penalized more severely, possibly even disqualified. To make matters worse, the New York State Athletic Commission was unable to review the sequence with instant replay because they failed to acquire footage from the Prime Video production truck before the 10th round started. That moment, likely, altered the trajectory of the bout, with Roach effectively losing the 9th round 10-8 on 2 of the judges' cards. Ultimately, Davis walked away with a majority decision draw, narrowly avoiding the first loss of his professional career, while Roach left with his reputation greatly enhanced despite the outcome. The packed crowd of 19,500 voiced their disapproval, showering the decision with boos. Roach, for his part, has remained defiant and motivated. He is contractually entitled to a rematch and is already mentally preparing for the second bout. Although he could not confirm a specific date, he told Boxing Scene and Pro Box TV that he's excited and ready to boogie once again. Roach's camp did file an official protest, citing the questionable officiating and the missed knockdown call. The New York State Athletic Commission acknowledged the error, but ultimately decided to uphold the original result. Nevertheless, Roach remains laser-focused on the rematch. He said that his performance in the first fight proved he belongs at the elite level and that some of the close rounds were incorrectly awarded to Davis. Guided by his father and trainer Lamont Roach, Sr., the young contender plans to come back with new strategies, promising to showcase more versatility, strength, and endurance in the sequel. "My tool bag's big," he added, underscoring his belief that he's far from a one-dimensional fighter. Roach also spoke about the mental edge he believes he had going into the original fight. Having faced Davis twice in the amateurs, Roach claimed he already knew what to expect. That familiarity gave him confidence and helped him stand toe-to-toe with one of boxing's biggest names. Although he didn't walk away with a victory on the record books, many viewed his gritty performance as a moral win. "The pressure was all on him," Roach said. "He was expected to dominate, and he didn't. He believes that the rematch is his chance to prove to the world and to himself that he belongs among the sport's elite. I'm never going to knock Davis's skills," he said. "He's been pound for pound for years, but I want to be in that conversation too." As for Davis, the undefeated star has remained largely silent about his preparation for the rematch. While his longtime trainer Calvin Ford has guided much of his career, it was veteran cornerman Barry Hunter who led the camp for the first fight and took the reins on fight night. Davis has not yet disclosed who will be in his corner for the upcoming bout. Regardless, Roach isn't concerned with who Davis brings to the ring, whoever he may
Lamont Roach, we saw the first fight. Lamont Roach shot the world. What do you think happens in a rematch if they fight?
I think he shocks the world again. But the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, different personality, different motivation. And I think Roach will do good again, but I think Tank will be more dominant.
Was that good. It would just take the right fighter to pick him apart, to be honest. Someone who had high activity and wasn't afraid of his power. So I always saw so many holes in his game. So to me, it wasn't that surprising that someone finally gave him some good work.